Hey folks, and welcome to episode 153 of the Phil Swallow podcast, recording on Saturday the 15th of July 2023. The title of today's show is, checks notes, I'm going to be on the radio, and I'm going to lead with that. So, what does that actually mean in practice? Well, I think I briefly mentioned it I didn't play it back to check, but I think I briefly mentioned it in last week's show that I'd had a message from someone who's got a radio show, and I followed it up, and I'll be on the Griff Griffiths Drivetime Show on Monday the 21st of August. It's an internet radio show, so it's broadcast all around the world. There's no excuse to not listen to it wherever you are. My prep for the show is to do the top 10 tracks, my favourite top 10 tracks, so I'm going to do some work on that. And he's going to give me any other details. But I tuned into the show the other day and it sounds really good fun, really lively. He drives it along really well, interplays the music between the chat. And he said he likes local history. So I'll be talking about that. So it should be great fun. So if you can tune in, that'd be great. Give it some support. I'm really looking forward to it. So that should be great fun. 21st of August, that's on a Monday. And it's 5 till 7 p.m. And then I'm going to have to hot-foot it to Selhurst Park to see Crystal Palace's first home game of the season against Arsenal. So, which hopefully will also be fun. So that was the big one of the big events for this week. A couple of other things happened. So with research, you sort of throw things out and then they sometimes come back. I was hesitant to say they come back and bite you on the backside, but they can come back in different times at different ways. And I made a video, I think it was March, April time now, about a gap in 150 Limpsfield Road in Sanderstead. If you look on the YouTube, you'll see all the details. And I had this email from someone, and it was copies of the official land registry plans, which include the appropriate map marked relevantly to show the actual areas. And it was sufficient information to kind of give me, I think, enough content now to do a follow-up short video. So that will be done either in its own right as a short video when I'm next in the area almost, or I'll tack it onto something else. I haven't decided yet. But it's no great secret or anything like that. It makes sense to a degree. I would say it confirms the ownership. It confirms that there's certain rights of way around this particular area. But I don't really know fully why they couldn't have just built a house on there, because it's like perfect house gap. Anyway, I did say at the time on the video, it was probably mainly a mystery in my own head. And it probably still remains to be that. So, but at least I found some information. Now, there's another mystery that came out this week. So I've been doing some work on the waterworks pumping stations in the area. And I had some videos. No, I didn't. I had some photos sent through to me by Roger Packham from the Bourne Society. And he said these are of Addington pumping station. Now, they were of Addington Road pumping station, which is in the sort of West Wickham area. Not that far from the Addington Well, which is just around the corner here. But it's in a different sort of water network. And I was doing some general research into that area. Dug into an old aerial map. So now let me get this right. I think it's Historic England website. You can go in and get some really good aerial photos, often taken around Second World War time. So some may have been actually in 1944 when we were actively at war. This particular one was taken on the 1st of August 1947. So yes, it obviously shows the whole area, including the pumping station on Addington Road. But it also had a number of buildings that had camouflage roofs. So it got me to then dig deeper. So this is what happens sometimes. You go along merrily looking at the target subject and you very quickly get taken off into another direction. I'll only tend to follow up those things if I think there's an interest. And obviously my hope as a filmmaker and presenter, I suppose now I can say, is that there's enough storytelling benefit, entertainment engagement from it to be able to take it further. So anyway, I wanted to find out what these buildings are all about. Croydon Rugby Football Club are based there. And I went along on Sunday morning. I saw on their website that they have some junior rugby activities there, 10 till 12. So I parked the car up about 11 o'clock. Went in there, had a look round, got chatting to a guy there, gave him my card. Now, on their website, they refer to the fact that they've got an RAF connection in the background. They actually call their newsletter the Hangar, and one of their sides, their 15s, is the Spitfires and another one is the Hurricanes. It wasn't an airfield. The buildings were no way hangar-like. It's on a reasonably steepish slope. But what was it? I put the feelers out. I posted on a number of different forums, Facebook groups, and one of the guys or a member of Croydon at War, which is a really good Facebook group run by Neil Quinn, he went to a different website and said he thinks they are related to a kind of maintenance area, workshop area. He thought there was a reference to that looking closer at the pictures. I guess if you've got some knowledge of these things, when you look deeper, it'll confirm that, oh yes, that is what I thought it was. Now, I'm still awaiting some more detail. I did actually try and join a site last night called RAF Commands, I think it's called. And I went through the registration and it said, right, the usual thing, click on an email to verify. And the email hasn't arrived. This was almost 24 hours ago. It's a bit weird. I may have to go around the loop again, or they don't want me. But no, I just thought if I go on that site, because it's got a whole section on RAF buildings. So this is kind of a support building. It might have been a safe area away from the airfield at Biggin Hill, say, which across country was a very short distance, really, a couple of miles, maybe 3, maybe 4. And they would be able to carry out the repairs without real fear of being bombed, hopefully. And I'm not sure how effective camouflage on the roof of a set of buildings would be, but I don't think they're ever bombed, so maybe it was successful. There was one person who actually commented on, I think it was on the Facebook group, and they said that they used to muck about there as kids, and before it was bulldozed to make way for the rugby club, they went underground and saw graffiti in a kind of bunker area that was kind of relevant to the time. So it all kind of makes sense. I think there's no dispute that it was a set of wartime buildings, but it would be good to know with some sort of documentary evidence exactly what they were, just so I can put that to bed. It was one of those itches that you need to scratch. And actually, in going up to, we went to pick Sue's mum up from her uncle's over in Eltham the other day. And one of the routes, when you look at the old mapping thing to come back, was via Biggin Hill. We've never gone that way before, but it was a kind of cross-country route to go from Eltham to Biggin Hill, then on to Caterham to drop Sue's mum home. And we had a little cup of tea and stuff in there, and I got chatting to them in there. And the guy there, Paul, he actually suggested using this Croydon at War website. So that also then meant that I had an opportunity or an excuse to look around Biggin Hill a little bit again and saw what events they got coming up. And I've signed up for a couple. Well, what I'm going to do is renew the membership I had last year, which is a way of giving them some support, financial support. I think the admission to the museum's about £8.25 or something, but for £24 annual fee, you can go as many times as you like. And some of the events they're running, it's free with museum entry. And a couple of them are walks, which should be interesting, probably walking around the airfield, but just, you're going to learn some bits and pieces about the area. And on one of them, they're going to do a start-up of a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which will be fantastic. Probably going to audio record that one, and hopefully Sue can come along. I think that's at the end of the month. So, yeah, so that's in the space of less than a week. The 139 Addington Road pumping station area, RAF maintenance type thing, has kind of come to light and hopefully been solved as well. So that's good. And one other thing that I was looking at, because Sue had to go for some fairly extensive dental treatment the other day, Wednesday, and I'd been looking up Addiscombe. There was an old convent in Ashburton Park in Addiscombe, and they've done some renovation. I had a look around the building, actually. I went for a cup of coffee in the attached cafe and had a look around there. It was very nice. And I was looking at the field, so where Ashburton School is in Addiscombe, this only really relates to Croydonians, but on the corner of Shirley Road and Addiscombe Road, there's Ashburton School and a library and some residences and a little garage. That plot of land came up in another one of my pieces of research into Stroud Green Waterworks for the presentation at Sanderstead the other week. And it said it was Beckenham Golf Course before that. And that's a bit odd because Beckenham's about 3 or 4 miles away. So I started to dig and dig and dig. And apparently, well, not apparently, factually, prior to there being, so it's school fields now and residences, prior to that Beckenham Golf Course, prior to that Croydon Racecourse. In fact, there was another Croydon Racecourse over at Park Hill in Croydon prior to that. The racecourse wasn't there very long in this kind of, I think they might have called it Woodside Races or Croydon Racecourse. I'll put a video together at some point, quite a short one, little story one. And it attracted the wrong type of people. It was very easy for undesirables to come along to Croydon from London and pickpockets and all that sort of thing. So it didn't last long, and moved to Gatwick when it closed down from Croydon. So it just got me thinking about sometimes where, when you start to understand what was beneath your feet, it can lead it to quite interesting stories sometimes. So, and all of these, I think, are stories that I can tell. Get the video camera out and go off walking. So that's been good. Tokyo, been doing some work on that this week. Today specifically, done quite a bit of work. It's a fiddly edit, but it's going to be a worthwhile one. I'm putting a lot into that film because I think it could be one of my regular watchers. The videos that tend to do well are the ones that probably have the most appeal. Surprise, surprise. I don't follow the trends. I just sort of tell stories about things that are of interest. So the travel video about Los Angeles to San Francisco is popular on my channel. Historic Croydon Airport's been very popular lately as well. So, and then in between that, people pick up on other things. Conscious my hand always appears here. So anyway, by the by. So Tokyo editing is going well. Another thing that I did the other day was made a purchase of an app called Transcriber. Now, it's a kind of partner app to Apple's Final Cut Pro that I use, but it enables you to generate closed captions or subtitles for your videos, which is really important to help people who are hard of hearing. Sue suffers from that, and she was actually chatting to her tutor in her BSL courses that she goes to, and mentioned about my channel, and I think it sort of helped to give me a little kick to try and do these properly. So the reason I say that is that I've done some of the captions. So YouTube can do a job of generating captions, but they're often so far off that they're amusing, and sometimes it might put in an accidental if that gets in the cut. But what I wanted to do was actually see if I could get some proper software. Now, there are providers out there, all subscription models, where you pay, I don't know, £10 a month for 30 minutes worth of footage being subscribed, and then you'd have to pay a bit more for an hour and so on. And there'll probably be a ridiculously priced unlimited one. And what I found incredible about this one was that it uses AI to do its job. But it was incredible. I've done a couple of tests, and I don't think I'd done the subtitles for the recent mudlarking video. So I ran it through that. It's only a 3-minute video, and it was stunning how it did it. It really was. So you can go through, and the nice thing is you can go through it if you wanted to emphasize things through punctuation and exclamation points and that kind of thing. If it didn't come across in the video, you can put those into the captions. So I went in and I ran it, made a few tweaks, and then you can create a file called an SRT file, and you can upload that to YouTube. So it will overwrite what YouTube has kind of prepared in the background, and then you've got those captions to help people going forward. YouTube does give stats on people that switch captioning on to look at the videos, and some of mine are set to music with writing on them. So it's I've got a mixed bag like that. But this Transcriber app, $39, it looks brilliant. I kept kind of looking to say, well, is it that plus a subscription? I almost couldn't believe my luck, and it'll help the pocket no end. So I'll be doing some more work on that. In terms of film planning, so after Tokyo, I will have cruise-related and Japan-related videos to do. They'll take a little while, but I still want to make sure I'm doing things that I've committed to locally. I've already mentioned a couple in this podcast, but the Caterham-on-the-Hill walk and talk I've been planning for some time. It's scripted for me, and if the weather behaves, we've actually got a strong wind weather warning today and a bit of a tree that's overhanging a neighbour's greenhouse that could be a bit iffy. Anyway, if the weather behaves, I'll go out there and film a couple of hours or so, something like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And it means I'll kind of flip-flop a bit. I'll either have a Tokyo, which will appeal to certain people on YouTube, and Caterham hopefully will link in with people that might want to follow on from some of the more local stuff. And talking of YouTube, I passed a big milestone, so I got to 800 views this week. Sometimes they sit on the 99 for a little while. So it wasn't too long actually. I think it's on 804 this morning now, so it's gone up a little bit. That was Wednesday, Thursday. I think it got to 800. I did a little post. And talking of posts, I signed up to Threads, which it's a Meta app, so it's Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp owned. And I've been doing some posting on that. It seems okay. It seems a fairly friendly place, which is what Twitter was moving away from becoming. I mean, it really does seem like a bit of a disaster zone sometimes, Twitter, since Mr. Musk got hold of it. So, yeah, Threads, Phil Swallow _UK, if you want to come along. And what I'm looking to do just is to get a bit more organised about my posting. I had an app for some time called Unfold, and I just upgraded to the pro version, but it enables you to do really nice kind of crafted, almost decorative posts for things like stories and things on Instagram and Facebook. I said Instagram, but there's probably other places you can. TikTok I don't really bother with too much. So you can do that kind of once and then just spread it out over those different sites. So I'm looking to make more use of Threads and social media, tell a few more stories. You know, for argument's sake, if I'm at Biggin Hill, I might just do a little clip of the Spitfire and Hurricane at the front and a little comment on text about what I'm doing or where I'm going that day. So it's just about discipline, getting into the rhythm of it, you know, that kind of thing. So I plan to do more of those going forward. And that's about it, I think, for this week's show. Thank you for listening. I'm now off to start work or continue work on the top 10 tracks. What I thought I'd do with that is, and it's going to be a kind of from a few years ago, this, by the way, probably guitar oriented. And I've decided to pick 10 artists that I like, and then my favourite track from each of those 10 artists. That's my kind of working plan at the moment. I could probably easily find 10 Dire Straits songs or something like that, but no, I'm looking forward to getting that sorted out. Good. Okay. This was the Phil Swallow podcast on the 15th of July 2023, episode 153. I'm going to be on the radio. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll speak to you again in the next one.